what's Missin Curfew. It's when you kind of play guilty, but you show up.
How nice is a green light on the road, though? No practice tomorrow, no plane, just go.
Scotty Upshaw in the clear, and he scores! Right in front, scores!
A few laughs, a little bit of fun, and obviously a lot of hockey talk.
You're listening to Missin Curfew.
Fellas, coming to you from Hall Pass Media, Newport Beach. This is Missin Curfew. As always, we got Kyle, Morgan, and Max Pickup in the booth. We got Princey, who's all fucking horned up, boys. Hockey, all he wants to talk about today is hockey. Just like most of you fucking beauties that listen to Missin Curfew, coming in from Cowtown. And we got our boy, Jay Swish, from North Scottsdale. No more mucking it up down there in Old Town. He's out with the Cougs and the rich people at Steak 44.
Yeah, it's Viagra, it's Cialis, it's the expensive top-shelf whiskey over here, Opes. We're not fucking around. Yes, I still, like I said last week, if I need to get my boots in the mix and I need to go into Old Town, well, that's only about 12 to 15 minutes just straight south on Scottsdale Road. So, fella, it's good to be back. Good to see your chin again, boys. What's up? What's shaking, baby? I'm fired up.
Do you go, if you do go into Scottsdale Old Town, do you go Uber Black, Uber XL? Do you try to save some cat? Like, let's say you go there, you pull out a girl. Are you getting the Uber XL so you can at least look like a National Leaguer jumping? And you got a little more room to maneuver on the car ride home, right? You need that extra little room to maneuver on the car ride home.
Yeah, 100%, because you don't know what's going to be happening. You know, you could be playing a game of, a little bit of tummy sticks. You could be playing tonsil hockey. She might be going over the pants on you. But no, Opes, my play always was, and especially my brother has a place here, obviously, with, playing with Arizona for all those years, is I would actually drive my car to Nick's place, which is just kind of right on Camelback Mountain. So from Old Town to his place is only a 6-minute jaunt. So I'd hop in an Uber from there. And then, yes, on the way back, if I peeled something out of there. Timmy peeled something out of the bar, a little trim, if you will. Yeah, of course I'm going back. I mean, you got to sell the game too, right? You got to get back here. And then my place actually has on the rooftop, and it's got a pool. It's got a sauna, a steamer, and a hot and a cold tub. So you usually just go hit the hot tub, bring some beers on ice, maybe make a nice little mixie, and then it's right back to the stabbing cabin. Let's see what happens, maybe.
That's a good setup. We call that the executive. By the way, I'm addicted to cold tubs. Put it on another list of things I'm addicted to. This thing's actually healthy, though. All the other vices on my list that I'm addicted to are probably not going to help my longevity in this fucking glorious world we live in. But these cold tubs, dude, I'm going in there every morning now. I love them. It's I've heard Joe Rogan talk about it a lot on his podcast, but it's almost like a high when you get out of there. Like it's just like, what's that called? Is it euphoria? Is that the right thing I'm saying? Or what's that called?
You get out of there and you're kind of high on your own supply a little bit. You have a little bit of a head rush. You get out of there, like, ooh, okay, yeah, I didn't even have to smoke anything or snort anything. We're good to go.
You're never supposed to get high on your own supply. And that's the rule number one in that line of work. Never get high on your own supply. But
yeah, exactly.
Hey, listen, at least I know you got that set up in Scottsdale. Whenever I need a little, flush the system, had a long night out, I go over to Jay Swish's tub, cold tub, sauna, steamer, fucking old-fashioned. We're back in the game, baby. We're back in the game.
Yeah, it's a National League setup up here, Opes. It's probably the best part about the building. The amenities are great. They even actually have a basketball court in there in the lower end, kind of off the gym. So I can go in there and work on my mid-range.
I'll box you
out.
Like
a young John Livingston, get my mid-range work.
I'll box you out, dude. I'll take it to the paint and box you.
I might have, if I lower the shoulder on you, you're going to be throwing me over the guardrail. No chance. I'm going to sit on the outside and trust my feet and trust my shot.
Yeah, we should play a little 2-on-2 pickup back. My conditioning, I'll fade fucking quick. But we used to play at the sports club here in Irvine. Me and Loops and Updog back in the day, we'd go in and shoot some hoops. And some days we'd see Colby in there. God rest his soul. But Colby lived in Newport. So a couple of days we'd walk in there. There'd be Colby training with his boys, just fucking the Black Mamba taking it to the hole, fucking pulling up. And we just sit there and watch him, dude. It's like, oh my God, that's Kobe Bryant. It was like unbelievable.
Yeah, 2-on-2 basketball, especially with just hockey guys, is hilarious because a lot of guys, are decent athletes, but you start, throwing the rock around and there's a lot of bad shots. There's a lot of just hard fouls. I actually do. I respect a hard foul. So I might take it to the paint, Johnny, as long as you don't clip me up high,
Yeah, I obviously you see the movie Along Came Polly. Raindrops, raindrops. He goes, bro, I'm just finally figuring out how to guard this guy, all right? I'm just finally figuring out, my lungs are burning.
The other guy's got his barrel out, his shirt off. He's like, Ruben's like, can we switch it up? He's like, and then Sandy laughed, like, no, I'm just starting to figure this guy out. It's just like so good.
Bro, I'm just starting to figure this guy out, how to defend this guy. Yeah. That guy's characters. We've been talking a lot about, awesome movie characters since, you've come part of the squad here. And that guy, Phyllis Seymour Hoffman and Along Came Polly. His character is unbelievable. When he takes the grease off the pizza, when he takes him to the art show and he's like, whatever you do, bro, I'm by your side. And literally 2 minutes later, he looks over, he's gone. Just gone. Yeah. And then he sharded at the party. That guy, character is unbelievable.
I think I just sharded. He's got a fat lipper into that character is all time. Whoever came up with that script and that character, that's one of my all-time favorites. And honestly, Opes, that's a sneaky character.
Sneaky. By the way, another sneaky thing is I saw you doing some night tennis. And also, speaking of Camelback Road or Camelback Mountain, did you hike that fucking thing? I saw another little content piece you did from the Top Cheese. How long did that take you?
Yeah, so I did, I was in a night fight last night with the Heat Daddy. We played tennis, just a little quick bang on a 2-setter, just, you see what happens out there, working on my serve, working on my overhand grease, a little slice too. But Sunday, Obes, I went over to the chin of Camelback. I hiked up the Echo side, and that side is essentially the stair-stepper side. So you can't hide on that thing. And it was a balmy, 102 that day too, so it was still steamy out. And I just looked at myself. I was like, fuck, if you're going to be a bear, be a grizzly. Just get out there. So I had a coffee. I got all goofed up on an Americano, and I went there. I put my bootstraps on, my work boots on, and I just fucking gave her. I think it was around 29 minutes. My best is 24, though, dude, or 25, and that's fucking humming. And the one time I did 25 minutes, there was a Navy SEAL, an ex-Navy SEAL. He was probably 5'7", 140, and he was carrying a 45-pound sandbag on his right shoulder, and he was keeping pace with me, and I was so pissed off. He actually ended up beating me, and then he told me that he was going to do it 5 more times that day. He was just one of those guys that's just a freak. But that hike is no joke.
I'm not a big hiker, as you can imagine, but however, back in my playing days, you ever do the grouse grind in Vancouver?
Yeah, I have. I used to go up there, and I had an agent. Shout out to Kurt Overhart. We used to do a agency camp up there, and we do the grouse grind all the time, once a summer. It's hard.
It's a grind. I mean, the Sedins, these guys are fucking freaks. They're doing it even faster now than I think they did it when I played. And when I played, they were by far the quickest guys. Kessler was right there. Biaxia Juice was in the mix. I saw the Vancouver Canucks kids doing it this year. The Sedins mopped the floor with them, and all these young kids are like, these guys aren't real people. However, when I did the grouse grind, when I got to the top, fella, this won't surprise you, I went in for a couple cold fucking Labatt Blues. When I was done, right before training camp, 2 of the boys we're going back down. I said, fuck that. I'm going in for a cold beer, boys. At least 2 after that grouse grind. I don't think the young boys or any of the Vancouver Canucks are doing that anymore. Eh? That cold beer when you got to the top, it tasted so good. I was just like, oh, God, that's tasty.
Oh, no, it'd be a BioSteel, a protein shake, and maybe just a glass of whole milk. You know what I mean? It's not the old special where you have 2 or 3, you're catching a buzz while you get up there afterwards, and then go down to the gondola and say, all right, boys, where are we going? Are we going right into Yaletown right now?
I was going right to Yaletown, right to fucking Earl's or Cactus Club for a little chili chicken and some lunch. But how good does an ice cold beer taste after a big win, after doing something like the grouse grind, a hike, that first beer you take, that Labatt Blue Light, and you just fucking, it just slides, doesn't it? I'm not a big beer guy, but when I can have an ice cold one after a hockey game or an exercise or a grind like that, it tastes so good.
That was the coolest part about being in St. Louis is all those guys, they had a beer fridge in the shooting room, and Steiner, Uppy, all the older guys, Bortuzzo, even guys like Jay Bowmeister, they'd all go in there in the shooting room and grab beers and then dish them out to the guys or sit in the lounge. That's hockey.
That is hockey.
That's hockey at its purest form. And you see it at beer league level. I just hope that's still milling around the National League a little bit, Opes, because after a hard day on the ice, taking hits, maybe fought, you scored a goal, whatever you did, shots, you deserve a cold one.
Yeah, that's Gino Reda. That's hockey. Gino Reda, that's hockey. What a show that was back in the day.
Yeah.
I'll tell you where there are beers. Guaranteed Tampa. Guaranteed there's beers in Tampa. Nashville. Guaranteed there's pints in Nashville. What other teams I think? Maybe L.A.? Pints,
LA, maybe.
Pints in L.A. Pints in L.A.
You like to think Dallas maybe too with Jamie Benn.
Dallas, pints for sure. Sags and Ben's, pints for sure. That'd be a fun little segment. Maybe we'll do that. But as normal, DJ Swiss, we're already behind the 8 ball here, so to speak, fella. Princey, what's up, fella? Listen, I know you're all fired up for some preseason hockey, buddy. How has it been? How has your Flames looked early? Are you as happy as I think you are with some preseason puck, fella?
No, it's good to see, man. Like I said, we've been kind of waiting for this a long time. Yeah, everyone's freaking out here in Calgary because the Flames are currently 3-0 in the preseason, have just spanked every single team they played, but it's preseason, boys. It doesn't mean jack shit. So we'll get moving along here. We'll see some guys get cut. We'll see some guys get put on waivers. Maybe we'll get to see some more fights. Utah guys looked pretty scrappy last night, so that looked pretty good. I know the Rangers, Bruins were kind of going at each other too, so it's coming along, boys. Here we're so close.
Yeah, listen, I had a Flames fan, just come into my fucking ex and just let me have it over the Bob Hartley segment that Princey posted. Like, just this guy let me have it. You fucking plug. You were making almost $3 million. You fucking, oh, poor baby Bob Hartley's hard on you. You're a fucking pussy, O'Brien. I literally, I just liked it. I was like, fuck, that's a good chirp, but I mean, I don't even know where to come back at you there. All those things are right. He was all over me. I was probably being a bit of a baby, and I was making close to 3 bananas. So good for you, fella. Way to keep me honest there.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm just going to go ahead and like that.
Yeah.
What you're saying to me right now is true, and it might hurt my feelings a little bit. So, you know what? Hey, all good, fella.
We used to say the truth hurts a little bit, eh? Truth hurts sometimes. Truth hurts sometimes.
You know, it stings, you know? It's like when a girl's telling you something, you're not the one. Or,
yeah.
Okay, fine. All right. Well,
yeah.
Guess I got to look elsewhere.
It's funny, you know when it comes to a point with a girl that either you've been dating her or you're trying to date her, but if you've been dating her and you know that you fucked up too much and that girl that you knew before is no longer, she doesn't exist anymore.
Oh,
right?
The door is completely shut.
It's shut. You try to call her, you text her, nothing. It's just, you got to look yourself in the mirror, swish, and say, it's over. She's no longer, that girl that you had, you ruined it. She's no longer alive in your opinion, to you. That girl's gone. So then you got to just dust off your boots and move on. But there's always that point, I find, Swish, and you're single now. You tell me that once you fucked it up enough, there's no getting her back. She's gone.
Oh, man, the one that got away. It's always they're calling you a name that you never heard before.
Great White Buffalo. Great White Buffalo.
Like, they're calling you like some name, like it's a very proper name. Like, hey, Mr. Schmaltz, or hey, George. Like, what are you talking about? Yeah. Swish. What are you talking? I'm baby to you. Yeah. What's going on here?
Yeah.
So it's always like,
you're not calling me baby anymore? What the hell is going on here?
That's classic. That's a tale's old time, man.
Yeah.
That can change in a hurry, Opes.
Yeah, it sure can.
It opens another door, brother.
Yeah. Princey, congratulations from Flames 3-0. Let's see if they can keep that going. That's intriguing. Shout out to DraftKings real quick and our good friends at the Bat Blue. They sent me this new hard tea they have. Hail Berry. It's a nice hard tea. It's tasty. I banged one down on the golf course when I was playing in my fall classic. So I'm not sure if they're officially out or if that was just kind of a soft opening for them. But when they do come out, check them out. And thank you to DraftKings and the Bat Blue for putting those on my tape. Those were the two they sent me were absolutely tasty. Jay Swish and Prince, you can jump in here as well if you want. Have you watched some preseason hockey? Let's go Utah. I was texting with their owner, Ryan Smith. The barn was packed. I think the uniforms look great. The fans seem excited. It's just got to be a breath of fresh air for these guys. And I know you're tight with a lot of these guys, Swish. And I know how much the mullet meant to you, so no disrespect. But it's got to be nice to play in front of a fucking full crowd at the Delta Center. It looked pretty National League to me, fella.
Yeah, it looked cool. And I think right away, initially, there's going to be a little over 11,000 seats just because with how they're kind of rearranging the seating in the Delta Center there in terms of making it accessible for hockey viewership as opposed to just basketball. So, yeah, it looked cool. It looked like a good atmosphere. Smitty was there, the owner. Dwayne Wade was in attendance, a couple of the Jazz players. So, cool that those guys are showing out, supporting the team. And just got a quick shout-out to our boy over here, Spicy Tuna O'Brien. I mean, he had the mud flaps just flowing in the wind. You know, I know how much you love a good no-bucket warm-up, Obes, and I think he was maybe the only guy going no-bucket last night. So he was straight out of Sons of Anarchy, maybe the Dirty Dog Saloon, south of me here in Scottsdale. But Spicy Tuna with the mud flaps going, just, feathered and lethal. I don't know what kind of product he in there. It definitely wasn't LA look.
No. Good for him. And I would say this to the Utah Hockey Club. Let's get a few more guys going no-bucket, eh? Can't leave him out there alone doing that. I would say this, shout out to Clayton Keller, got the G-dub in the preseason game. Fuck, I love the unis, boys. I love the black and the white and the kind of like the baby blue, I guess, the old Hawks from Mighty Ducks back in the day. But I thought Keller's looked great in the uniforms. The Utah across the checks looks great. And I'm okay with the hockey club for now. I saw your boy Heat Daddy tweet something out saying he wants to keep it forever, but I'm okay with the Utah Hockey Club. It sounds just like, hey, listen, who are we playing tonight? Utah Hockey Club. Fuck, we better be ready to go. There's a hockey club coming in. We're ready.
It sounds mean. It sounds just like a European traditional soccer club over there, Obes. It just sounds like it fucks. Like Utah Hockey Club. I think I would rather have that than Yeti. What's a Yeti? Is it something I put a wine cooler in and I just house it?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, it's an okay name, but Hockey Club just seems like it's tough. It's mean. It's in your face.
That's exactly what you do with the Yeti. You pull 3/4 of Crown Royal, put a little gingy in there, throw some ice in it, and you just have a time. You just hack it down.
Now it turns into the fucking Catalina wine mixer.
It's the fucking Catalina wine mixer. Listen, I think I love their owner. I've only spent a weekend with them and golfing and drinking. I mean, if you can't get to know a guy in that situation, I don't know, what's a better tell of a guy. And he was excited. I think the fans are excited. Swiss Dog, I know you're going up there for the home opener. That's going to be exciting, but I just think it's a good look for these guys. I think for the NHL, Ryan Smith has bailed them out of a tough situation. And like you said, the arena, they'll figure that out as it goes. But so far, to me, so good with the Utah. I'm on board with the hockey club, fella. I am on board.
Yeah, I really love those colors. I really do. I'm not just saying that because, obviously Nick's there and have buddies there. I really think that tarp is clean. Their owner seems like they're in really good hands there. And the buzz. I mean, they've already sold almost 8,500 season tickets. People are going to come out, show out. They'll be sold out every night. So I'm looking forward to that opening night on the 8th against the Blackhawks. It's going to be pretty sick, man. And just seeing how those guys are getting treated, they deserve that. So it's really cool to hear. And it sounds like everything there has been really good to start.
No, they deserve it more than anybody in the fucking National League, all right? They got to live in Scottsdale and Arizona and Tempe, so off the ice was always great for those guys. But still, you go to the rink, you're fucking Clayton Keller's a National Leaguer. He wants to be treated like a National Leaguer. Ryan Smith is going to do that. I can tell you right now on DraftKings, baby, I am going to hammer the hockey club at home against Bedard and the Blackhawks, even though I do think the Blackhawks are a better hockey team this year. I just like the Utah Hockey Club at home. Jay Swish in the building. Are you taking Heat Daddy with you too?
I think we're going to go, yeah.
Wow.
I have a ton of family in town, but we're going to find the Heat Daddy a ticket, and I don't know if I'm going to be going mullet on. I don't know what my look's going to be yet, but I'm going to definitely, be bringing down the house and bring that energy in terms of outside the glass, fellow.
Yeah, we're on board here at Missin Curfew with the Utah Hockey Club. Smitty, waiting for him to text me back, trying to get him on the show here. Smitty, text me back, fella. Last but not least on our intro here, my former coach John Tortorella and Keith Jones and Danny Barrere and everybody in the Philadelphia Flyers organization. But John Tortorella, Torts, I love you for many reasons. I text him, what a great job by him. Bringing out Guy Gaudreau, obviously a horrific situation like Torts said. But listen, it was a great move by Torts. If this helped Guy for just an hour to somehow, he would have never forgot about what happened. But an hour or two of where he can hang around the hockey guys, be part of an NHL training camp. John Tortorella, good on you, fella. I text him. You should be very proud of yourself, Torts, and Keith Jones, and Danny B. And, Torts, he's a demanding coach, and he's going to be all over you, and you're not going to like what he says all the time. But I've been saying it for years when I played for him, and since I've had this podcast, John Tortorella is a good human being and a good dude and a stand-up guy. And Jay Swish, I thought they knocked it out of the park. So, Torts, I love you, fella. Good for you. I thought this was a classy move by the Flyers, fam.
Yeah, and Torts is good people. He's a close mentor of a guy that I played for at North Dakota, and Dane Jackson. He was a former captain for Torts in the minors in Rochester. But just going back to your point, Obes, you make a great point in terms of just getting him into the fold and Guy and coming in. The one cool quote was, I think we're going to bring him next week into the fold as well in terms of working with Philly a little bit moving forward. But I just thought the cool thing was, Torts says, is first and foremost, he's a coach. We wanted to get him involved. We wanted to, maybe this could be a little therapeutical for him as well in terms of coming in, getting his mind off it, like you said. But one funny quote was, I think Torts was kind of banging his sticks at the guys, I need you to go harder. I need more pace. And Guy looked at him, he goes, John, how hard can you push these guys? You only got 3 lines out here. So he's in the fold. That's awesome. Making jokes, and he said he's in tune with what's going on. So a coach first and foremost, but also just helping a member of the hockey community out. It's just a very classy gesture, and I hope they have him more around too, because just what he's going through with the family is truly horrific, but this can be something that could maybe shine a little bit of light on it.
Yeah, good for Guy, because Torts will push you right to the limit. He does need an assistant coach to step in and be like, hey, Torts. It's like Herb Brooks from Miracle. Hey, Torts, simmer down a little bit. The boys are fucking puking in the corner. So I just thought it was a great, and listen, it's not going to obviously, heal Guy from what he's going through. But like I said, a couple hours to be at the rink with the boys. Jay Swislick said they're going to invite him back next week. So to the Philadelphia Flyers, good on you. And this is how Torts ended the text. Thanks, Obes. Hope your podcast is going well. I will never go on it. Laugh out loud. Be well. Oh, fucking Torts never coming on. I'll get you, Torts. I'll get you, fella. When Jonesy fires you in a few years, I'll get you somehow. I'll get him, Jay Swish.
Oh, yeah, for sure. You're going to have to peel him out of his late place in Wisconsin one summer. Just get him on the show.
Yeah. So Philadelphia Flyers, congratulations. Great job. I was pulling for the Flyers before that. I'm pulling for them even more. So Torts, Jonesy, DB, good for you guys. We'll be right back at Missin Curfew. Welcome back to Missin Curfew. The Missin Curfew dog of the week, Jay Swish. I won my fantasy. Kyle, you got to be happy. Jamar Chase, 2 TDs, fella. He's back.
He's back, and those were nice, long catches. But I did lose by 2 points.
Oh, really?
Eden Daniels last night just took me down.
I smoked Jack Eichel. I smoked Eich's 168 to 115. And the reason was this guy right here, Derrick Henry. Hey, Jerry Jones, listen, I know he's a little long in the tooth, but like his comments about not being able to afford Derrick Henry, I'm like, fellow, less is more there, Jerry. 25 carries, 151 yards, 2 TDs. He's my Missin Curfew. Dog of the week, and he's the reason I smoked Ikes. God, it felt good. Ikes may have a Stanley Cup ring that I don't have, but I got a little bragging right over Ikes right now because I worked him in the fantasy football league, Jay Swish.
Yeah, what do you have? 151, a pair of touchdowns. I mean, when Derrick Henry gets running downhill, that big frame, I mean, oh, man, that's like an F-350 with a lift kit coming right at you. Just get out of the way. It even has a deer guard in it. Just get the fuck out of the way because he can plow you right over.
Totally. And by the way, I've always known how big he is, but there was one play where he broke through and Parsons had to chase him down. And Parsons had to jump up on him and physically like put all his weight on him. And Henry would just kind of carried him for a yard, and then Parsons got him down. And Parsons no pushover, dude. This guy is arguably the best linebacker, or he's a linebacker, right? Or defensive end, whatever he is. Like, and he looked like a lot smaller than Henry, and he had to use everything just to get that big bastard down.
Yeah, he's a big boy. I mean, just even going back to his Tennessee days, like, dude, that guy, man, like the way he could run, like he in his prime too, just how violent he would run. He kind of reminds me of that. But who's that guy in Kansas City? Is it Pacheco? Is that the running back that's hurt right now a little bit? He's banged up. That guy, just like he kind of runs. He kind of reminds me of Henry, just how angry he runs. It's like he doesn't care if he tuck his chin and just put it right in your sternum, and he'll plow you over. Like, just no problem. Just fucking let her buck Diddy.
Yeah, that Pacheco runs angry. Like, something happened to him back in the day, where he just, he just runs hard. Like, I mean, that guy is such a beast. And listen, the kid that Kansas City got steal, the white boy with long hair, he runs hard too. And they got Kareem Hunt that they just signed. I mean, the Chiefs are going to be just fine. But, yeah, Derrick Henry, I don't know how the Dallas Cowboys, he wanted to go to Dallas, but he was training in Dallas. He wanted to go there, and Jerry just, for whatever reason, said, we don't want you, man. Like, it's a blunder.
That's Gerald, right?
That is
Gerald.
That's Gerald. He's looking old, brother.
Right.
Even
Gerald,
he's looking old.
Gerald doesn't exactly hate himself. I mean, if he wants to make a move, he's making the move, right? He's the player, coach, owner, operator, CEO. I mean, I don't know. He does everything there.
Yeah.
Talk about micromanaging people. I think Jerry Jones to a T.
Yeah, he might want to take a little off his plate. Spread the pie around there, Jerry. You've had a great run. You got 5 Super Bowls. I think he's won 3 of them. The organization's won 5. Jerry's won 3. Hey, sit back and take your helicopter to the game, sit in your owner's suite. Maybe let somebody else help you out with some of this day-to-day stuff, Jerry. You know what I'm saying?
How funny is it when just lands his chopper around the practice field? Like, they have 2 practice fields at their facility, and when Jerry wants to land, if there's guys practicing on that field, they just move over like the offensive line. All right, boys, Jerry's coming in with his chopper. It's like, all right, bro.
Yeah, you're like, hey, special team, slide over. Jerry's got to land here real quick. We'll do the punt return a little bit here. Hey, Jerry's
I should save it for tomorrow.
Yeah. It reminds me from the Entourage movie where Ari Gold lands it right and he's like, Ari, you can't land there. He's like, I just did. And he comes storming into that meeting. I'm like, oh, that's such a sick scene. So, Derrick Henry, the Missin Curfew Dog of the Week. Jay Swish, Labatt Blue Light, fella.
Presented by Labatt Blue Light, the pristine Pilsner. Enjoy your beers together so you can live life to the power of we. Folks, always enjoy responsibly. Beer Labatt USA. Buffalo, New York. Shout out Chippewa Street, baby.
Ooh, Chippewa. We're going to get there. I've been talking to the boys, Jason, guys at Blue Light. We're going to get to old Chippewa Street sooner than later. Get this guy, Labatt Blue. Shohei Ohtani. Probably, we got to get him, we got to get him maybe a DraftKings app, though. We got to get him signed up for DraftKings, old Shohei Ohtani. But anyways, 50-50 club. What this guy's doing right now, Jay Swish, is no one's ever done it before. I've been in some group chats with people, Lupul and some other guys, PJ and my boy Joe D. Lupul said he's the best baseball player to ever play the game. I still think Babe Ruth probably is, just because Babe didn't mind a cocktail or a hot dog. But Shohei Ohtani, 50-50, get this guy Labatt Blue. And, buddy, Swish, he's in the bullpen throwing peas right now, too, at Dodger Stadium. So who knows if he's going to come back and throw in the postseason. But, man, he's doing stuff that no one's done. You got to give this guy blue light.
Yeah, he's firing on all cylinders. I mean, there was a time, too, where Aaron Judge had almost he had 50 dingers, and he went cold. But it seems like Ohtani obviously has upped his game. And 50-50, man, that's pretty impressive. You go back to, you kind of name your favorite baseball player, you're the best of all time, being the Bambino. But don't sleep on Pistol Pete Rose, folks. The guy would bet on his own team. Yeah, that's pretty nails. I know we're going off a little off topic.
No,
I just wanted to give Pistol Pete maybe a beer too, because he could use one.
Yeah, let's get him in the Hall of Fame too, right?
Yeah.
If he was betting against his team to lose, listen, you shouldn't bet on your team at all. All right, you made a mistake. You shouldn't be betting on your team at all. But if you bet against his team to lose, then I would say never let him in the Baseball Hall of Fame and never let him in a baseball park again. Made a mistake betting on his own team. I think he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame before he dies. I
think so too. And even just going to a game in Cincinnati this past year, like everyone was still rocking Rose jerseys there. It's pretty cool.
Good park, huh?
What's that?
Good park.
Yeah.
Yeah, we like that. My 2 years in Cincinnati, we went down both times and worked out for opening day. So we go for practice right from the old Cincinnati Gardens right down to the Bank of America ballpark. I think it was called back then. I don't know what it's called now, but we would just start boozing. It was always one of the best days in Cincinnati, opening day. Sold out, that park right on the river, the Ohio River. Beautiful baseball park, fella.
Yeah, a very rich history of baseball there. A sweet park right on the river, like you said. But, it's my guy, forget this guy, Labatt Blue Light this week, was that of Mark Francis O'Meara. A couple clicks for a 2-time major winner. Just shut it down this past week on the Champions Tour. Played his last round at Pebble Beach. So I just want to shout out to Marco O'Meara. His 1 year, Obes, in 1998. He won a Masters. He finished 4th in the PGA, 3rd in the U.S. Open, then took home the Open Championship on European soil. So 2 wins, and then, essentially 2 top 5s with a T3 and a T4. So he's a Hall of Famer, hell of a career. And I just want to get that guy a beer because it was an emotional, goodbye to golf, professional golf for now, for Marky O'Meara.
Yeah, what a place to go to, Pebble. Just obviously an unbelievable place. And listen, Tiger's buddy, right? He played with Tiger. When Tiger came on the tour, they lived together at Islesworth. He played practice rounds with Tiger. He helped Tiger turn into the guy he was. And I think also made Mark O'Meara realize when Tiger came in that his winnings were not going to be quite like they were before Tiger got on the tour. But great golf guy, a legend, like you said, and been a staple on the Champions Tour for a long time. So he deserves as many blue lights as he can get. For me, I'm probably going to butcher this guy's name, but the Russian kid, Nikita Grabentkin, number 71 for the Leafs, gets a nice little tilt at the Scotiabank Arena the other night. And after that, Jay Swish, what does he do? He pumps up the crowd. I love it. I don't see much of this anymore. He pumps it up. I was loving it watching the game. Ryan Reeves, after the game, gave the kids some love. So this guy, I'm sure he loves the blue light. Good for you, scrapping in preseason and getting the fans going in Toronto, because sometimes, Jay Swish, that building can be a little sleepy. This guy deserves a blue light, my man.
No, 100%. Even just fighting for your spot in preseason, knowing who your coach is, an old nail gun in Craig Berube. And yeah, like you said, get that Scotiabank Arena going, because sometimes people are eating too much crispy rice, too much salmon nigiri in those lower seats with the suits on. So anytime you can chuck them there, even if it's preseason, ignite that building a little bit, get the people something to talk about. And fights and goals, those are 2 things that get the people on their feet. And good on you, the Russian.
It gets the people going.
Yeah,
hey, it gets the people going. It's prerogative, and they like it. What's he saying? What's he saying that?
We're going to skate to one song and one song only. Lady Humps by the Black Eyed Peas. Why? Because it gets the people going.
Yeah, exactly. Honorable mention, or we can get this guy blue light too. Lane Hudson, that sauce pass that everybody in the hockey world's been talking about, but that sauce pass coming around the net, fucking almost would have hit the score clock at the Bell Center. He would have had to keep her down a little bit, but right on his tape, the guy went on the breakaway and missed, I believe. But Lane Hudson, Get yourself a blue light. And then last but not least for me, the fact daddy, Ryan O'Reilly and his older brother Cal, who I play with in Nashville. We're on the same line. Cal is still playing in the American Hockey League. I believe he has over 1,000 games in the American Hockey League. Cal O'Reilly is a great guy. I love my time playing with him in Nashville. Everybody knows I love the fact daddy, Ryan O'Reilly. So good for them. Great pitcher op. I talked to you, Jay Switch, a couple weeks ago about I wanted my pitcher to Ducks Uni 55 for the Man Cave. These guys got a great picture together. Both buckets off. They both love blue lights. Good for the O'Reilly boys.
Yeah, that was cool. Their parents were in attendance for that one, too. Got to play on a line in the preseason. Cal, obviously a really good pro, roughly 150 NHL games. Hell of a player. He's played all over. Probably an AHL Hall of Famer. But my last guy here, Obes, is Matty Coronado from the Calgary Flames. Lunar sauce the other night in Seattle against the Kraken. Came on the half wall, made a little stop-up play, and he took it from the wall on his backhand. Saucer pass over a couple sticks, led it perfectly to a guy on the one-timer side, right on the back door. So set of hands there, fella. Kovalev-like, and I would say maybe my priest back home. Those were the only 2 sets of hands I've seen like that. So that was a hell of a pass.
Dude, that was nasty. Came down on his backhand, right? Came down the wall, kept it in on his backhand. obviously saw the guy without even looking, and then to have that much oomph on it and that flat of a sauce to land perfect. And the guy from the Flames, Princey, who ripped it home, the kid who ripped it home too to finish it off?
Jeremy Poirier, he's the defenseman.
Yeah. So listen, unbelievable backhand sauce, but for that guy to rip it one timer, listen, Jay Swiss, you know this too, like the skill of these kids nowadays, right? Like it's just crazy that these kids can come into. I know it's preseason and it's not quite as quick as a National League hockey game, but dude, that's an unbelievable play for an exhibition for some kids,
Yeah, I mean, he's the 14th overall pick. He's a kid that played college hockey, U.S.-born product. I think, as we were talking before the show, Princey says he's eyeing to make the team this year, and that's how you get noticed right there. A 70-foot lunar sauce pass lands perfectly on a guy's blade, and like you said, to take that spin on that puck, I don't think people really realize that's a harder shot than you think because it landed just right on his blade, and he just at the same time took it one time. So that's a hell of a shot, and yeah, just a great play, and I love a little sauce. What's that slogan that Sweet Baby Ray's uses for their barbecue sauce? The sauce is the boss. Like, that was saucy, man. That was sick. I love a good sauce pass.
I live for a good sauce pass. I mean, coaches tell me not the sauce. I'm like, that's not going to happen. I don't know what to tell you. I'm going to throw sauce all day, every day. Me and Fact Daddy, that's the after you do the drill, Jay Swiss, you got to do the 3 hard laps.
Yep.
In Denver, me and Fact Daddy would throw sauce to each other the whole time doing that. Just fucking sending it. Joe Sacco's losing his mind. I'm just firing sauce. But Loops tells a great story of in Philly one year. Who would have been their coach back then? John Stevens or something. And the boys were fucking with them. And they did a whole drill where everybody sauce passed it. Like, it wasn't like everyone was saucing it. And I guess he blew the whistle and fucking staffed. But the boys were like, because he'd been all over them about, hey, we got to play quicker, no sauce passes. So all the boys got together, and they had all beauty team in Philly. And the boys, the first drill lets everyone throw sauce. I guess he fucking lost his marbles.
Dude, that team, I mean, just looking at it on paper, you guys talked about it with Updog and Loops, obviously, on this pod, but just Carbomb,
Carter,
Richard, or Mike Richards. They had Kimo.
Gagne.
Like, just an all-beauty team, man.
Oh, then they had Glenn Metropolitan, Jimmy Dowd. And then on their back end, they had like Rathje and Hatcher and Jason Smith, and like they just had.
Yeah.
I mean, when I played in Vancouver, they were playing somewhere else. They flew in. I played my game in Vancouver, and their whole team ended up back at my house after that night. But the whole squad was at my house. I'm like, holy fuck, the whole team's here. Like, not one guy wasn't out fucking partying. I'm like, now that's how you win. That's how you win.
It's hilarious too that you had Richie and Carter. And then you also had Uppy and Lupo. Like, dude, like talk about a 4-ball there. Holy fuck.
Yeah, no, I was like, God, I remember talking to Mike Richards at the Roxy, being like, bro, can you get me to Philly somehow, man? Is there any way you can get me to Philly? Like, I just feel like I really fit in with this team. I really. Yeah. Richard's like, yeah, see what I can do. Yeah, I'll try to do a deal at the Roxy with their captain. Hey, Richie, fella. Hey, come on. What do you think, bud? Hey,
I'll come in and fight, play PK. I'm a good guy. Maybe I'm a good guy. Yeah. I'm a blue guy.
I'll tell you what, everyone on that team loved a good blue light. So the milk carton, it's milk carton time here at Missin Curfew. Princey's got me watching preseason hockey. He said the preseason started. He's all excited for it. So I flipped on Toronto-Ottawa. Typical preseason game. Toronto's got their whole fucking lineup in. Ottawa doesn't have one player besides Bath in there. And the shots in the first period were like 17-2 or something for the Sens. Sens ended up winning it in overtime. I'm watching the game as I'm watching, I believe, the Sunday night, or I'm flipping back and forth. And I look in the Leafs net, and it's fucking Matt Murray. Matt Murray is still in there. He's still playing. I thought this guy was out of the league 2 years ago. Murray, I'm putting you on the milk carton. You should be on long-term IR. You should be living in Boca Raton, Florida, collecting your money, paying no sales tax, instead of getting lit up in the goddamn American League. You got 2 more Stanley Cups than I do, fella. Get down to Florida. It's over. I'm putting him on the milk carton. Matty Murray, hang him up, fella.
Can we just get this guy a job in something like a goalie coach or a goalie advisor where maybe he, lives in Florida, like you said, Opes, and they just fly prospects down there because the Leafs can afford it. And he just, runs them through a couple drills and get to the beach, and maybe you go to a place like the Elbow Room in Fort Lauderdale or something and just kind of hang out and mentor goalies that way, because I don't know, it seems like he's been very injury-plagued, and I get it. He wants to play hockey, but at the same time, I think he's dealt with a fair amount of head injuries. And listen, I'm not going to talk on that, but it just seems like you said, maybe just kick the feet up, baby. You got your mugs.
Yeah, you won your cups. You made lots of money. And then listen, you go on long-term IR, you don't have to pay escrow either. So there's some more in your pocket. I mean, you go down the American League, you don't have to pay escrow, but you got to ride the buses. And I mean, to me, I guess good for him that he wants to continue to battle. But I'm being honest with you, Jay Swish. I thought this guy was done 2 years ago. Like, I mean, and boom, there he is back in between the pipes for the Leafs in training camp. I'm like, dude, yeah, must hate his wife, eh? Must hate his wife.
Must hate his wife.
Must hate his wife.
I mean, how many times can you go into Belleville and eat Boston pizza?
Exactly.
It's like, it's like, I can't eat the chicken parm again.
Yeah,
I can't do it. No, I can't do it.
You could be down in Boca Raton or Fort Lauderdale having sushi, hanging by the beach, hanging by the pool. I don't know. So Matt Murray, I'm putting you on the milk carton, fella.
Yeah, that's a good one. I had Don Sweeney for mine, Obes, just for the fact of, like, what are we doing here? Let's get our goalie signed. You traded away Allmark, okay, so you clearly want Jeremy Swayman as your number one moving forward. You don't take him to arbitration, so you don't kind of punt it for years to come, either a year down the line or maybe 2. He's not probably asking for a crazy amount. I mean, what do you think you could get that deal done for, like 8 times 8.5, 8 times 9 maybe? I mean, if he's your number one goalie, that's kind of the going market and the going rate. It's just like, let's get our guy locked up. What are we doing? What are we doing here?
Yeah, this one doesn't make sense to me either. And we're going to do our Eastern Conference preview here right after we get through the Shaw of the Night and a few other things. But listen, they made some great moves. I'm going to talk about how much I believe in the Boston Bruins this year. Zadorov on the back end. They bring Lindholm in to shore up their lack of depth down the middle. You got Brad Marchand. You got Pasta. I mean, listen, the Eastern Conference, to me, like we're going to get into, is wide open in my opinion. And for me, I just don't understand how they don't have this guy signed. It's not good for him. It's not good for Don Sweeney and the Boston Bruins. It's just something that I don't think they need to deal with here. And Swayman obviously deserves, whatever he's asking for. Although I did hear he wanted 10 bananas a year. That might be a little bit high, but well, what did you say? What did you say? $8 million a year or something like that? Or what do you think?
I think like market value for me, anywhere between like 8.5 or even 8 or all the way up to 9 or maybe even 9.5. Like what was Chucky McAvoy's deal? I think it should be slightly lower than that, maybe $9 million times 8. You get your 72 bananas and you get in and you get your goalie in there for training camp. Because look, start this guy off, say he doesn't sign until midway through October. You say, now you're behind the 8 ball. Yes, he has skated, but he hasn't been in a full training camp. So you're risking a little bit of maybe an injury, maybe something like a growing or something, just something like a small little tweak. To me, it just doesn't help either side. And if you get rid of one of the goalies, clearly this is your number one. How much are you really trying to squeeze him down to?
Yeah, no, you're right. And to me, like 8 times 8 sounds right. Like Swayman, like what is this? How many years has he been in the league now? Is this
probably his 3rd or 4th?
Yeah, I was going to say, like it wasn't long ago he was riding the Iron Lung down in Providence. Yeah. Like I get it. His agent's probably like, fella, you got these guys by the short and curlies. And as you know, as an ex-player, Jay Swish, we all want that opportunity to finally have the shoe on the other foot that, hey, we got the leverage. They trade Allmark to Ottawa. Right now, they're sitting there with a team that I think can compete for the Eastern Conference, championship this year. And now Swayman's agent's like, fella, trust me. And this is where, as a player, you got to trust your agent. But to me, 8 times 8 or 8.5 times 8, whatever you want to do it, to me, I think they got to get it done. But you're right. Him not being there, he can get shots with college teams or junior teams or whatever he is right now. As much as players, Jay Swish, this, as much as we hate training camp, it's so important for players, goalies, coaches, everybody.
It's invaluable, and especially for a goalie, especially when you have a guy like David Pastrnak shooting on you who scored 60-odd goals in the league. He's shooting on you every day of the week, and you can get really quality reps. But, Obes, you make a good point where you trust your agent. Now, he has the same agent. I don't know his name. I'm forgetting his name, but he repped William Nylander in the past, and as we know, Willie Stiles held out till December of the year. He ended up signing off his RFA deal. So this could be something where Swayman, who knows, man? Hopefully they can just get him under contract. Just put the bullshit aside. Let's play hockey, Bruins hockey, and then everyone can kind of just go to work from there. Because clearly right now it's a distraction not only for management, but most importantly the team on the ice, man.
Yeah, and listen, Don Sweeney, his back pocket has Korpisalo. So Korpisalo can hold the fort here for the time being, in my opinion. I just looked it up on there. I forgot that they had signed him. So if you're Don Sweeney, you're like, okay, listen, Korpisalo has been a number one goalie in this league, right? Obviously, the Kings brought him in a couple of years ago, and they got beat in the first round, but he's played a lot of hockey in Columbus. So maybe that's Don Sweeney's insurance. But I'm with you. I think you got to get this done 8 times 8 or 8.5. Get it done. But I like how you're putting Don Sweeney on the milk carton, buddy. Keep him honest here at Missin Curfew, Swish. Yeah,
listen,
no free passes.
Hopefully he sees it, baby. Hopefully he gets Swayman paid too.
Well, you're 1 for 1 for people seeing your. So hey, maybe you're 1 for 1 for starting the pop.
Even if they do see it, they won't admit anyways. They just whatever.
I love it. Jay Swish, Jägermeister, ice you shot of the night, fella.
presented by Jägermeister. Best served at 0 degrees Fahrenheit. Damn, baby, that's cold. Check Jägermeister out at www.DraftKingsXJägermeister.com. Folks, go check that out. Ooh, does Jaeger get you going?
Cheers, fella. We got to get them to send you a bottle. We'll get them to send you a bottle so you can join in the festivities here. Cheers.
Cheers, fella.
Damn, that's cold. Listen, I'm going to the first overall pick, Macklin Celebrini. First goal of the preseason. Little one-timer. It was a power play goal, I believe, right, Princey?
Should be, yeah.
Yeah, power play goal. He was there on his one-timer side. The guy slid it over to him either from the point or through the box. Booyah, one-timer. The first of many for this kid. But Macklin Celebrini, damn, that's cold. That's the Jäger iciest shot of the night. Kid looks pretty good to me I've only watched the highlights, haven't watched the play yet, but that release, that little hunting hole of his, booyah. It was like Ovi or Stammer, but from the left side kind of thing.
Yeah, that was a hell of a shot. Clearly you can see why he was picked number one, just working that half wall, a 1T bomb. But Obes, Macklin Celebrini, I took this one step further around draft time, and we got to start pumping this out a little bit, especially when he starts going here and tucking goals in the National League in the regular season. Macklin Celebrini has a nice ring to it.
I like that, Celebrini. Fucking, let's talk to Smitty at Sauce and get that T-shirt made. Hey,
yeah, Macklin Celebrini. It just has a nice ring to it, fella.
Dude, I love it. I love when I don't know where you come up with all this stuff, but it's a gift. It's a talent that you have, my man. And you're talented. I love it. So,
yeah.
Good on him. First of many, like I said, but so far he looks good from the highlights that I've seen. Jay Swish, back up the Brinks truck. Beep, beep, beep. Back it up here at Missin Curfew. Mo Seider, I believe he signed last week. 7 years, 8.55 bananas a year. Love this kid. Big German right shot. I love when defensemen get paid. For whatever reason, Jay Swish, I have a problem when they give all these forwards all the money. But anytime a defenseman gets paid, I absolutely love it. I think this kid's a stud. Right-handed shot, can play the power play, penalty kill, play 30 minutes a night. I think he deserves this, and he's only going to get better and only get stronger as he grows into his body. So for me, Mo Seider, beep, 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 back up the Brinks truck, Fala.
Love his game, Opes. I think he's at his best when he is on his toes in the neutral zone, stepping up and out and kind of just making sure guys know that he's around, and if your head's down, he's going to catch your chin. And I love how he when he steps up, he kind of does that hit where he uses his back. Guys just
Rob Blake, old school Rob Blake.
Yeah, exactly. And when he can staple guys like that, and now he's a presence on the ice, and now you have to be aware when you're out there with him. The big German, if he can keep bringing that element to his game, as well as adding to the offensive side and everything else he does, that's going to be a steal of a contract. My backup, the Brinks truck over here, comes out of Salt Lake City, taking some of that Mormon cash, baby. We got Dylan Guenther. He got 8 years old at 7 and a hook. I believe it was 7.125 it came in at. Listen, this guy's got a hell of a release. Chris Kyle-like in terms of a sniper. Guys in Utah rave about his shot, and I saw it firsthand last year at the Mullet when he got called up. So I think this contract, if he continues on what he's doing in his trajectory, this could be a steal as well. I think he's a shoe-in 30-goal guy playing on that power play. And then who knows from there? Maybe he could be a 50-goal guy one day. You never know, fella. So I think this is a great signing by Ryan Smith and Bill Armstrong, and I can't wait to watch that kid play because he's a good dude, too. Good kid.
Yeah, and like you said, if Kells and your bro say, the sky's the limit for this kid, that's what I really value. I value guys that see him every day, practice with them, play with them, fly in the plane with them, go for dinner on the road with them. They know this kid. They know his tendencies. Your brother and Clayton Keller are both great players. So if they back this, I'm not going to argue that. Good for him. Break out the Amex, though, fella, and treat the boys to a little fucking dinner on the road after that contract. And then last but not least, Logan O'Connor. Gritty. I love when these third and fourth liners get paid. 6 years, 15 bananas. Listen, the Avalanche were not the same team last year without him. Obviously, they lost Big Val. He'll be back in November. But when Logan O'Connor went out halfway through the year or whenever it was, it might have even been before that, they were not the same hockey club. I've tickled the Colorado Avalanche on DraftKings Sportsbook at plus 1,200. I've tickled them to win the Stanley Cup. My boy Landy, I need him back. Big Val, we get him straightened out. They'll be okay. But Logan O'Connor, this kid can play. I love when guys get rewarded, Jay Swish, and this is a good, fair contract. And for him, I guarantee this kid never thought he'd be signing for 15 bananas. So good on him. And it's going to be good to see OC back in the lineup for the Avs.
I love Joe Sakic and what he's done there, and he values middle six options. So he signs a guy like OC to 6 times 2 and a hook. The previous years, he brought in Miles Wood, similar contract, as well as Rob Colton, around $4 million. Like, those intangible players that can play up and down your lineup from line 2 to line 4, and maybe even slide up to 1, barring injury, are so valuable, and they're just trusty pieces on your chessboard. So that's a great move, Opes. I think it's a great deal for both sides.
Yeah, well said. And I would say this, boys, out there on the DraftKings app, the Avs at plus 1,200, the highest they've been since they've won the Stanley Cup, or the year before they won the Stanley Cup. This is the highest they've ever been. They've been usually around plus 800. I would tickle that, fellas. I think the Avs, like I said, Landis Cog is the glue. Let's hope he comes back. But I do think with those odds, you got to tickle the Avalanche on DraftKings Sportsbook. Fella, we'll be right back with the Eastern Conference preview here at Missin Curfew. Welcome back to Missin Curfew, the DraftKings Eastern Conference preview, presented by DraftKings. Stay tuned because you'll hear more about DraftKings and all it has to offer throughout the show. DraftKings, the crown is yours. All right, Jay Swish, we're going to start with the Atlantic Division. Princey, jump in here, Kyle, if you guys want to. Obviously, the defending Stanley Cup champs are sitting right there. A lot of hockey been played by the Florida Panthers, bro. I love Chucky. I love Paul Maurice. I love everyone they have there. I just don't know if 3 years in a row you can do it. To me, actually, I'll go first here. I got the Boston Bruins at plus 2,200 to win the Stanley Cup. And I can't remember what they are to win the Eastern Conference on DraftKings, but I tickled that as well. Love Jim Montgomery, and I touched on it earlier before the break. Listen, I love Zadorov. They got the biggest team in the NHL. 207 pounds is their average weight of their team. Lindholm, I'm not a huge Lindholm guy. However, I do think he shores up the middle of the ice. Pastrnak, Marchand. I think what happened last year, too, against the Toronto Maple Leafs, against the Florida Panthers, where Marchand got knocked out by Bennett. I think all summer, Swish, I think those boys were chewing on that and thinking about it and being like, watching those boys parade to the Stanley Cup. A little fuck you in Boston. I love the fans. I love the TD Garden. I'm on board with the Boston Bruins, and to me, they're my favorite team right now in the Atlantic Division, fella.
Yeah, listen, they got to, obviously we touched on a little bit in the pre-show here, they got to get their goaltending situation figured out with their number one in Swayman. That should sure up hopefully before the new year, you'd think. But they have Korpisalo right now kicking for them going into opening night, at least, as we record right now in the end of September. But yeah, listen, I think that blue line is really good. One name I want to mention, you mentioned this Zadorov is a big lefty. I think he's going to kind of take on that big Z character there in Boston. I think he's going to play even a little meaner than he usually has. I think he's going to come in and really try to make a statement and embody himself into that Boston Bruins culture. But one name I want to throw out there, he played about 41 games last year, played the playoffs, had a sick snipe actually down in Florida, is Mason Lohrei, a big 6'4" defenseman. I think he can play on the power play. I think he's a second power play like quarterback. Jimmy Montgomery really likes a kid that is actually a Wisconsin product, played at Ohio State, his college. So I think he's poised to have a big year. He can really move the puck and his feet for a big fella. So, yeah, I'm excited for that team. I think, down the middle, they got stronger in the back end, too. I mean, McAvoy's their smallest defenseman right now. So it's going to be hard at playoff time to go to the net on those boys, Hopes.
Yeah, exactly. And I still think size wins come playoff time. And another kid, Max Jones, who I got to know out here playing for the Anaheim Ducks. I think he's going to flourish in Boston in that blue-collar Boston Bruins rugged type of guy. I think that's a sneaky pickup for them. But yeah, I'm with you. Their size. I love Jim Montgomery behind the bench. I think they're going to have a big, big year in Boston. I put my money on it. Staying in the Atlantic, the Toronto Maple Leafs. Craig Berube. Love this hiring. And then the additions of Pacioretty, Oliver Ekman-Larsson, Yanni Hakanpää. Don't sleep on Hakanpää. I'm telling you right now, big, long. Listen, he's no Bobby Orr back there. He's not going to be fucking running the quarter play, be the QB on the power play. They got all that, but this guy can defend. He can kill penalties. Tanev, Stolars. I love all the moves they did, Swish, before I turn it over to you. I love everything Brad Treliving did. I love bringing in Berube. I love all these moves. I hope Max Pacioretty can crack the squad. It's going to come down to, not even Matthews, it's going to come down to Marner and Nylander. Once again, we're sitting here. What the fuck is the date? September 24th. And I got to continue to talk about fucking Mitch Marner and William Nylander. Like, uncle, they're going to be good. They're going to fight to win the Atlantic. Are these guys going to figure it out and give their fucking balls a tug come playoff time? Because if they're not, we're going to be right back here come fucking tea times in fucking April, and they're going to be done. So I love all the moves. I think they're ready to rock. They're going to be a great regular season team. But Mitchie Marner, it's going to come down to you again, and that's just the God on a true, Swish.
Yeah, when the thermostat goes up at playoff time, that is when you have to rise to the occasion. And it's big boy hockey, Hopes. It's not fun. I mean, I played one career playoff game myself, and I was like, holy fuck, Chris Stewart out here at the XL Energy Center, like he literally wants to end my life when he's checking me out here. So it's just like, if those guys can figure it out. My one question is obviously probably a couple would be goaltending. I think they did strengthen up that blue line with Tanev and OEL. I really like Jake McCabe's game. He's just a bull back there. Morgan Riley obviously can move the rock and facilitate at a high level. But like you said, it's going to come down to the big boys up top. And also, can they get some secondary scoring in there too?
Yeah.
So I think whether there is hope there, there's still question marks. But if there's one guy I want as my captain of the ship, it's Craig Berube for that team, because he is no bullshit. Let's play how I want to play, and it's proven to win.
That's a great point by you on secondary scoring. Matty Nyes fella here. What is this going to be, a second or third full year in the league? Is this his second full year, boys?
I think it's second full year, yep.
So maybe this is unfair. Maybe this is still a little early. He's only going to be his second full year in the league. But Jay Swish, you talking about secondary scoring. I want more from this kid. Like he brought that physical element in the playoffs. I love that. But more consistency, and that's the hardest thing about playing in the National League. You can have a good game, but you just can't have a fucking stinker. You got to find that consistency. I think if he can chip in more offensively and just find that consistent game, I think that will be huge for the Leafs, especially come playoff time. And I just want to circle back to Mitch Marner. Like, listen, dude, I'm sitting here with no Stanley Cups. There's lots of guys that play in the NHL that did win Stanley Cups. And it's not like, listen, Mitch Marner makes $11 million a year. He's a great fucking a regular season player. He's a great teammate from everything I heard. Max Domi loves him. Everybody loves him. He's just not a great playoff player. And if that's the way that Mitch Marner is always going to be, then that's just Mitch Marner. Then there's nothing we can do about it. Like, it's not like I want to be picking on this kid. I'm just going with, if you ask me what he is, he's a great regular season player with a nice big bank account. He's got sick style, and come playoff time, he's kind of soft. That's okay. But that's just what he has been. And until he changes that, I don't think they will win a Stanley Cup. And obviously, John Tavares, last year at 11 bananas, let's see what he can do. But there's nothing wrong with being a great regular season player, making $11 million, playing in Toronto, having a great time. But he just, come playoff times, he hasn't brought it.
As one coach that is a proven winner in the NHL once told me, Obes, there's a lot of nice guys out there. There's a lot of nice guys. You got to figure out how you can bring that, just fuck you to your game. I mean, it sucks to say, because I think he is a very beloved teammate. Guys like him. He's a hell of a player. He puts up obviously incredible numbers, but when the chips are down, man, like, you just haven't seen it yet. And that's just the truth. Right? The truth sometimes stings. And when you're making that much money, you got to be able to take the heat a little bit. Yeah,
and listen, and Mitch Marner has a great life. He's living the dream. I would have given my left nut to play for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And this is why this offseason, I don't know why, like, I don't know him, but like, for me, there were some rumblings that Nashville was an opportunity. There were some rumblings that Vegas was an opportunity. Like, for me, if I'm Mitch Marner, I look at those opportunities where, there's no state tax to begin with, which is nice for your 11 bananas that he's making or whatever. But you can go there. It's a fresh start. You don't have all this pressure on him. Can he say what he wants? There's so much pressure on this kid. And we'll see. He doesn't want to talk extension. I saw him coming out of the gates at his opening press conference and said, I don't want to talk extension. We'll see how that plays out. But unfortunately, it comes down to April for these guys. They know it. Everyone knows it. However, I love watching the Toronto Maple Leafs play regular season hockey. Your boy, AM34, I love this kid's game. The C on him looks unbelievable. I was wrong about that. The C on his jersey is just crispy. They're going to be right there again. And we'll circle back in April, Jay Swish, wherever they play, and it'll come down to Marner, Nylander, and Matthews, and Domi, and everyone. But to me, it's Mitch Marner and Willie Nylander. I'm going to say, come playoff time, can those boys get her done?
Yeah, I mean, it would be pretty nails of Mitch Marner if he tripled down or quadrupled down on this, and somehow the Leafs end up winning a Stanley Cup, and Craig Berube gets him to play a certain way with a little bit more edge. I mean, that would be pretty cool, too, and that would show a fucking big moose knuckles if we're playing devil's advocate here. So Who knows, man? We'll see what at playoff time, and like you said, just all comes down to the roads lead through April, my friend. Yeah,
and you know what? Good point again by you. Listen, I said last week, I think, on this podcast that I hope Trevor Zegras proves me wrong. Well, Mitch Marner, I hope you prove me wrong too, fella. I hope you shove it right up my you-know-what and come out playoff time and block shots and have cuts on your face and fucking play a little Dougie Gilmore hockey. I hope you prove me wrong. But until he does that, Jay Swish, I'm not going to change my tune on the kid. Sick regular season player. Wish I had his fucking paychecks every 2 weeks. Great guy. Everyone loves him. But when you're playing in Toronto, make it 11, and they haven't won a cup since, what, 67?
Yep.
Yeah, we'll see. Time will tell. Our boy John Cooper, the Tampa Bay Lightning, 12th season for Coop Dog. Coop, I absolutely love you, buddy. I know you got blue lights in that coach's room and some red wine, Camus. We got to get to Tampa too, fella. Listen, obviously, life without Steven Stamkos. The additions are Connor Geekie, Jake Guentzel, Cam Atkinson, which I think could be a sneaky pickup, and Ryan McDonough, who I know Coop absolutely loves. The guy's an absolute warrior. Listen, I think they're going to be right where they were last year. I think they're going to be battling for, the third spot in this division or a wild card. I just can't believe that we're not going to see Kucherov slide in those little feathery passes over to Stammer to rip him home. Hedman's new captain. Time will tell, but with John Cooper, Hedman, Point, Kucherov, Guentzel, this is a playoff team, Jay Swish. They'll be right where they were again last year.
I mean, obviously, I think they ruffled some feathers with the management there in terms of not electing to re-sign their captain, Steven Stamkos, and then bringing in Jake Guentzel. It's kind of, you bring in the younger girl, but the older one's still getting it done. She still looks good in terms of Stamkos, but you bring in a younger option, you lock up Guentzel. I think with Kuch, I mean, that's going to be a hell of a 1-2 punch, but I agree, Obes. I think they're going to be right there, kind of sniffing around the same spot. They finished 4th place in the Atlantic last year, so they got a good coach. They got a hell of a culture there. I think they won't miss a beat, but it'll be interesting to see this, not having Stamkos there, man. That makes a big difference, as you know, in and around the locker room, and more off the ice than you think, too, Obes.
Yeah, I will tell you this when we're talking about DraftKings, baby. The Tampa Bay Lightning at home, they're a good bet all season long. Tampa Bay at home, Kucherov gets his touches on the power play. So, fellas, if you're looking to tickle the Lightning, you live in Tampa, or you're just looking to get involved, Tampa at home, to me, will continue to be a good bet. Their power play is going to be good. We'll see, though, Swish, how they're going to have to make some adjustments. Time will tell. But when the puck's in Kucherov's hands, for me, I would probably just take him to the other side, right? And then you can work it up high with Hedman, and then you can work it through to Guentzel, or maybe you put Point out there when Point's usually the net front high tip guy. There will be some adjusting. But with Kucherov with the puck in his hands, he can make it. I mean, he can make me and you look good.
I mean, he's the best half-wall guy I think we've ever seen in the league ever. I mean, he's unbelievable. The only thing is, Obes, if you put him on the other side, then you kind of take away that little 1T option right to Point where he's tucked. Yeah. I mean, 30-odd goals a year, whatever is on the – I mean, not all in the power play.
That's true.
He's a 50-goal guy in that spot. It's just like, I don't get how how does Kucherov just get – he just kind of dances, he kind of lulls you to sleep, and all of a sudden he'll just turn a defenseman's toe caps one way, and it's just – right to Pointer, it's right down to the goal line, bang, bang, shrimp. It's like the guy, he's just surgical over there.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. He's got to stay on that side because you can't lose that one-timer to Point. Put Guentzel on the other side, just have him come off and roll on his forehand, right? So he can just take it and roll and pull and shoot, but you can't give up that little one-timer of Point, that little soft spot right in the middle. I'm sure Cooch is more comfortable over there because he's been over there forever. So, hey, Coop, if you're listening, fella, and you want me and Jay Swish to come and work the old, power play meeting, we could fly in. Hey, we'll fly in and work the power play meeting.
Listen, we'll sit the boys out. We're gonna still keep the 1-3-1 here, boys, and maybe Guentzel, you might go down to the goal line, fella. You still get your cookies there too. Hey, don't worry, boys. You're gonna get
your touches, boys. You're gonna get your touches. Everyone's gonna touch it out there, right? It's 5-on-4. You're gonna get your touches. So
who would even be that right-hander if you went to the flank on the left side? They have a right shot that can hit a 1T over there. It's not like it's like Darren Radish. No disrespect to Darren Radish.
No disrespect to Darren Radish.
Stammer.
No, but
they have a right shot option over there.
I mean, you could look at Cam Atkinson maybe, right? Cam's a right-handed. Yeah. That's a guy that could take advantage of that opportunity. But no, I mean, on the back end, they signed that J.J. Morzo. He's a lefty. McDonough's a lefty. Chernick's not playing power play or either of the other two guys. So maybe Cam Atkinson gets an opportunity. Listen, Cam's played power play. Kid's a fucking good player. Been in the league a long time. Maybe that's the guy. But I like what you're saying. You can't lose that little, Kucherov here, little sauce to Point where he pops out. You can't get that out of the repertoire, I don't think, fella.
No, he's such that soft spot 1T is such Pointer's wheelhouse too. Like you can't lose that.
No. Detroit Red Wings, lots of blue lights in Detroit. They gave it a good college try last year. Princey, great job in these notes. They brought in Vladimir Tarasenko, Tyler Mott, who was a kid that I absolutely love that will bring some sandpaper to a team that I think is still too soft. Eric Gustafsson and Cam Talbot in between the pipes. I love Stevie Y. I love him. I think eventually he will get the Red Wings back to where they are. And listen, Jay Swish, I got to be honest with you. When I talk about the Red Wings, it's always bittersweet for me, dude, because when I was in the league, they were so fucking good. They made the playoffs every year. They won 2 cups when I was in the league. I went into Joe Louis Arena and took it on the chin many of nights and grabbed a Little Caesars pizza on the way out. So I don't feel bad for the Red Wings fans. I'm sure a lot of them listen to Missin Curfew. You had your run of 23 years. I do think they're heading in the right direction. I do not think they're going to be a playoff team again, though, Chase.
No, I don't think so either. And I love what Stevie Y has done there. He's put in Michigan products, too. He's got Larkin there. He's got DeBrincat. He's got Mott. He's got Kopp. So I love, like, the Michigan influx in there. I think whenever you're playing for your hometown team, it means that much more. Obviously, you add a guy like Vladimir Tarasenko, a proven 30, 40 goal guy when he's healthy. Obviously, you have Showtime there. I don't know, man. I could see them maybe sliding in. I don't know. I'm going to have to recircle on this, but yeah, I think I might take him to make it. I love that coach there, too, Derek Lalonde. I played for him in junior. We won a championship in Green Bay, and he's cut from the same cloth as Coop. They're best friends. He coached in Tampa with Coop. So who knows, Opes? Eddie Kane. Just love watching him. I need playoff hockey with Kane.
Yeah, you don't need to pick it right now. We will put out our picks before the actual. Okay. This is just a little preview. We're just tickling it for the fellas. Yep. Tickling it. This is Paul Princey. You want to get the little preview show. You want to talk some puck, Princey, you were looking forward to this show, weren't you, Princey?
Me and the fans are looking forward to this. But I get it. I get it. Swish too. We got to go to Detroit last season for the home opener. There's some big hype around that team, and it just felt so short. So that little addition of Tarasenko, I think will get them over the hump. I'm with Swish. I think they're getting in.
All the the blue lights are flowing in Michigan, and the Swish and Princey are on it. Buffalo Sabres, still a little stinky in Buffalo there. You listen, I love Lindy Ruff. I think he's old school. I'd love to get drunk with Lindy Ruff. I'd love to sit in Lindy Ruff's coach's office and drink 12 blue lights with him. However, this team is not going to make the playoffs. And unfortunately, I really got nothing else to say about them. I don't know if you guys want to tickle that or whatever, but I just don't think Buffalo's, they're still in one.
No, shout out to Chippewa Street. Shout out to Mother.
Yeah, I love Buffalo.
Favorite place. But, there's where there's excitement there, there's a lot of just false hope at the same time. So let's put it that way.
Yeah, and I hope I'm wrong. Listen, Buffalo fans, I hope I'm wrong. Prove me wrong, Buffalo. The last two teams in this division, the Ottawa Senators and Montreal Canadiens, these are my two squads that I just want them both to get in. I don't think they both can mathematically even get in. It's not going to work for both of them. It'll be lucky if one of them get in. I love Travis Green. I love the addition of Nick Cousins, Noah Gregor, David Perron, and then obviously between the pipes, they got Linus Ullmark. Nick Jensen's another right-handed good defenseman. Michael Amadio won a Stanley Cup. And you guys know how I feel about Brady Tkachuk. I fucking love this kid. He's my favorite captain in the NHL. Drake Batherson, Timmy Stützle. We don't have to pick him right now, but I am leaning towards this team being a playoff team. And then in Montreal, I love Marty St. Louis. We'll see what Patrick Laine does. I think this team's heading in the right direction. I think Slafkovsky has a big, big year. In my opinion, because of Brady Tkachuk and Ullmark between the pipes, I think Ottawa is a little bit ahead of Montreal. But I'm excited to watch both these two teams play, Swish. I'm going to watch a lot of these guys play this year, both these teams.
Yeah, both teams have a lot of young, promising pieces to their team. Two guys I really like, former Dakota players on Ottawa, is Shane Parlay Pinto as well as Jake Sanderson. Those two guys, I love their games. I also love the addition of David Perron. I hope he goes back to the white skates. Davey, if you're listening, fella, throw the white jets on. A sneaky, sneaky good career. I love his game, that toe drag release on his forehand side on the power play. One of my favorite shots in all of hockey. And then lastly, on the Montreal Canadiens, whatever Lane Hudson's over-under is for points this year, Obes, I don't know what DK has the line at. I'm taking the over on that because this kid, I think he's Quinn Hughes 2.0, fella.
Love it. We'll love it. We can get that for you. We'll get the line on that. I love that you're tickling it. Kyle just whispered in my ear that we forgot about the Florida Panthers. Can't forget about the champs. Love it. Love Chucky. Love everything that's going on down there. Obviously going to be a playoff team. I just think 3 years in a row of going back to the Stanley Cup Finals. Listen, they're human beings. I would like to know how hard these guys worked in the offseason. I would like to see their Apple Watch. Hey, can I see your Apple Watch, bro? How many extra sprints did you get in, dude? Because if it was me, I'd be showing up. I'd be in the fat club, 20% body fat. Obi's on fucking long-term IR. He's too fat. He can't play. I love this team. I love Paul Maurice. I was so happy when they won last year. But Swish, to me, playoff team, if they get in, look out because they got championship DNA now. But I just think 3 years in a row, I don't think the boys can do it, even with that vitamin D in South Florida, fella.
Yeah, the hardest thing to do is repeat and get right back to where you were, right?
Yeah.
I think they have a group that's not going to be fat and happy, but, some key losses. You lose a guy like Monty Kidfella, who's a friend of the show here, Lomberg, OEL. Now you insert guys like Nate Schmidt and a couple other bodies. We'll see, Obes. I'm with you there, though. I'm going to be hesitant to start with that team. But anytime you got Paul Maurice, you have, Matty Tkachuk and Barkov and some of these guys that'll kind of will their team in, I'd be surprised if, they don't slide in and then maybe make some noise.
Yeah, listen, I love that Atlantic division. Lots of good teams. Boston Bruins, listen, get Swayman signed. How do you like my Bruins pick, fella? You like that at plus 2,200? What's your gut feeling on the Bees?
To win it all?
Well, to win, I got them to win it all and to win the East. Let's just say win the East because I think the Edmonton Oilers are going to win it all. But we'll look to win the East.
Sean coming off a couple major surgeries, right? So let's see how they start off. Pasta, obviously going to do his thing. Up the middle, I want to see how they do with Coyle and Home and a few others options. I do like a guy like Trent Frederick. Their defense, obviously.
I love Trent Frederick.
Get Swayman in there. Yeah, I mean, it all sounds good on paper, and I love their coach and Jimmy Montgomery. All he does is win. So, yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Let's see.
I could get on board. I could piggyback off that.
Yeah, listen, if the finals there, we can go hang out at DraftKings headquarters, have a time, shoot some content. It's a win-win for everyone. For everyone. So, Princey, great job on the preview of the Atlantic Division there, fellow. Those notes are National League. Thank you to Kyle, Morgan, and Max Pickup and Hall Pass Media. Jay Swish, you the man, fella. Always crispy rice, spicy tuna, tape to tape. Looking forward to chatting with you Thursday, my man.
Yeah, that was awesome. It's always tape to tape. It's not. I mean, at this point, I think it's backhand sauce, no look. But we'll see you Thursday, fella.
Hey, listen,
it's always good chat.
How much preseason hockey will you watch? Some tonight? Will you watch some tomorrow? Are you going to watch a little bit?
I'm always a student of the game. I always like to just check in on guys that are like bubble players. Maybe a defenseman that's a younger guy out there that's a first, second round pick. Maybe. He needs to add some weight to his frame, and he needs some lemon pepper seasoning down in the American League, but he looks good. That was kind of me coming up, right?
Yeah.
High hopes. So, yeah. Obes, as they always say, though, you go from prospect to suspect really quick.
Make
your fucking noise, boys, early.
That is true. You only get so many looks, and before you know it, like Swish said, you're a fucking suspect, and it's game, set, match. So, Jay Swish, thank you. Hall Pass Media, thank you. That was Missin Curfew, fella.